have. And as far as like the mental part of it, that was something I lacked a lot of actually.
That's interesting. I think I listened to a podcast of you with Justin Bruckman, and you kind of,
Yeah,
I think you mentioned that, and that again, that really surprised me, just because I only know you kind of from a distance. I don't kind of know what goes on. So to me, that really surprised me, because you just seem like such a calm, cool, collected, confident guy. So tell me a
yeah.
little bit about that piece that you struggled with, and the stuff that was going through your head, and how you ultimately kind of have made it through, I guess.
Yeah, I think I hide it pretty well. I'm pretty good at hiding emotion,
Yeah.
in fights and in life. But yeah, coming up, I started when I first started. I didn't really have much. I just jumped into it, so it was like
Yeah.
if I lost, then okay, whatever. But as I started winning, I got up to 5 and 0, 6 and 0, 7 and 0, 8 and 0, 9 and 0, and then people just started expecting me to win. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I started putting pressure on myself. I started getting anxiety because I'm worrying about the worst case scenarios, worrying about losing, staying undefeated, looking like humiliated on TV. And I let all these negative thoughts, drive me nuts, to be honest. And I had a lot of anxiety going into a lot of my fights. And I just had to kind of push through it. And I've definitely in my earlier days underperformed in a lot of fights, even though I still won.
Right.
Um, where if I had some mental training or somebody to really guide me through that, I think it would have been, I would have won, but I would have been much better performance.
Right.
So it wasn't until actually I got injured, I tore my pec
That's
completely
right. I
off.
remember that. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. So that was a shitty injury for sure. So it sidelined me for about 7 months or so.
Wow.
It was in that time I was like, yeah, I got to do something. I can't do anything physical that much, but so I started just reading books and looking into the mental game. And I was reading books like Mind Gym and The Mindful Athlete and
Yep.
The Rise of Superman, things like that. And I just kind of became fascinated with it. I really started, getting into it. And I went back to school. I'm in school online right now for sports psychology.
Oh, that's wild.
Uh,
That's great.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's something that I mean, it's beneficial to me as a fighter, and it's helping my game. But it's something that I'd like to get into after I'm done,
Right.
to help other athletes, not just fighters, but all athletes, because I know that this is definitely something that a lot of guys deal with.
It's so funny too, because you don't even have to be an elite athlete.
No,
It's so funny too, because I guess I don't associate you guys that way, because I'm a guy that struggled a lot with that kind of thing. Very low self esteem. Like, I'd get into tournaments and I would shell up. Like, I'd have tournaments where I'd go in and I'd pull half guard and I would sit there for fucking 6 minutes and do nothing. Like that.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Literally paralyzed by, I don't want to look stupid. What if
yeah.
this? What if that? And it's like, I think it's something that we all grapple with. It's cool to hear you talk about that. Are there any like specific things that you've done, that you've found or learned about, that have really helped you turn a corner, so to speak, with that kind of thing?
Just talking about it really
Yeah,
helps.
it's so simple,
Um,
eh? But yeah,
so
exactly.
simple,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, like one of I'd say the biggest. I actually listen to a podcast all the time called The Mindset Mentor.
Okay. Yep.
And I find that very beneficial. He's really good. And it just, for me, it was the biggest thing was anxiety, building it up in my
Yeah.
head and thinking about the worst case scenario that, I think I just listened to it today, actually. I think he said like, when people are dealing with anxiety, it's all caused by thoughts. It's not like depression where it's a chemical imbalance, right? So
Right.
it's all on us.
Yep.
So what he said was people think the worst, and of that percentage that actually the worst happens only about 15% of the time. So 85% of the time it doesn't
But you're
come true.
telling me there's a chance.
But tell me this
You're telling me there's a chance. Yeah. No.
but yeah, so 15% of the time, something might happen. And then
Sure.
70%, 79% of that time, when something does go wrong, it's not nearly as bad as how they expect.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? So it's like, I think he said there's a 95% chance that what the worst you're thinking would happen, or
Yeah.
5% chance the worst you're thinking would happen. So just thinking like, as far as those things, and like you said, like the visualization, your mind doesn't know, if you're visualizing it or doing it, it doesn't know the difference.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So continuously putting that in your mind. And my biggest thing was, positive affirmation, just continuing to just tell myself, you know, the biggest thing for me was like before fights, I'd tell myself I'm excited, because it's Anxiety and excitement they're the same
It's the
nervous system.
same. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're gonna tense up, you're gonna breathe a bit heavier, but if you tell yourself you're excited, you'll actually, look forward to this and have fun doing it rather than tense up and shell up and try to look for a way out.
Right. So it's a lot of it's like almost like cognitive therapy where you're reframing stuff, right? Like I think I heard Forrest Griffin say once, he's like, you it's not fear so much as your body's preparing to do what you've trained it to do. Like you do need some anxiety. Like
100%.
you probably like I doubt you'd want to go into a fight where you're like like you took
Yeah.
a Xanax and you're just chilled out. Like
Yeah,
some of
sure.
that is going to bring out the best in you, and it's
Yeah.
always with a lot of this stuff. It feels like it's finding that middle ground, which can be so hard to do. But even the piece I mean, I think it's good for anybody listening. It's like you hear a guy like you and people think, look at this guy, he's a successful athlete. They probably see, you've always got that smile, that smirk. And to me, I'm like, Josh probably never gets anxious about anything. I wish I was like that. I wish I had the confidence he had. So it's cool to hear people that are so successful like you and great athletes and have had a ton of success. And even you're sitting there going, holy fuck, I'm nervous. Holy fuck, what if this, what if that? Because I think it just normalizes it,
Well,
right?
I mean, if you could say that about me, but look at George St. Pierre. I mean,
Yeah.
he's in my opinion the best to ever do it, and he talks about it openly all the time about
Oh,
how he did
absolutely.
it. So it's I'm at this level, he's at this level. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's I think it's poker face, man. You know what I mean?